All right, welcome to maths class, and today we're going to learn how to find the surface area of a cylinder. This is a cylinder. It could be a can or a tin. Inside here I've just got an empty tub that I usually keep nuts and things in. So a cylinder's surface area is made of three parts. You've got this curved outside bit, then you've got this flat circle at one end, and you've got this flat circle at the other. So let's pull it apart to see what we have. First of all, we've got this circle here. And of course, the area of my circle is pi r squared. I've got a second circle that's exactly the same size. That's how you know that it's a cylinder. The circle at one end is the same as the circle at the other end. So we've got two areas of pi r squared. Then, when I take this curved part of my cylinder, if I unwrap it, I end up with a rectangle. Now we know how to find the area of a rectangle. It's nice and easy. It's the length times the height, all right? Or you would call it the length times the width. I'm going to call it the height because in this case, the height is the height of my cylinder. So if I get given a cylinder and I know two things about it, I know the radius, which helps me to find the area of the circle, and I know the height. How do I find the area of this rectangle? And the key to that is in the fact that this circle is the circumference of this circle. So this circumference here, when I open it up, is the same distance as the length of this rectangle. So for my rectangle, I've got a length and I've got a height. And my area is going to be the length times the height. All right, the height, I'm just going to call h because I know what it is, but I still don't know what the length is. Wait a minute, yes I do. We decided that the length is the same as the circumference of this circle. I know how to find circumference. Circumference equals 2 pi r. Circumference equals 2 pi r. The circumference is the length of this rectangle. So now I've got the area of my rectangle is 2 pi r times the height. 2 pi r is the circumference of the circle, h is the height. Now, when I'm looking for the surface area of a cylinder, you've got to be really careful because you don't always know what you've got in terms of a cylinder. You can't just use one formula. Maybe you've got a cylinder with no lid, which means you don't need this surface because there's nothing there. I don't have one here, but maybe you've got a tunnel or a pipe that has no circles at either end. Or maybe you've got something like this, which is a closed cylinder. It's got a top and a bottom. So you always have to decide, do you need the rectangle? Well, if it's a cylinder, you're always going to need this part. That's the rectangle. Do you also need one circle? Or maybe you need two circles. So this is what it's going to look like. The total surface area is going to be the area of the rectangle plus the area of two circles. So the area of the rectangle we've already decided is 2 pi r times h. And the area of the two circles is going to be pi r squared. Well, there's two of those, so it's 2 pi r squared. When we add them together, we get 2 pi rh plus 2 pi r squared. I can rewrite that by taking out a common factor of 2 pi r, and I get h plus r in the brackets. But I don't need to. I can just use the original version if I prefer to. Now, the other thing I can think about though is every time I'm doing a question involving cylinder, I want to remember that this part is my rectangle. That's the circumference of a circle times the height of a cylinder, and this part is my circle. 2 times pi r squared because there are 2 circles. That's how you find the total surface area of a cylinder.